Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. Welcome, everybody. We're getting a little bit of, we got a little bit of follow through today to the upside into resistance and closing the gap here. And what we're doing is we're forming a Hangman doji at this time, and we'll check out the VIX as well and give you a visual of that. I do think this is going to be a reversal at this point, so we should expect some down day tomorrow, some follow through there, and that should be a larger move than what has occurred now. And I don't just mean tomorrow, I mean going into next week. It could take a few days or a handful of days or so for this to play out, and then we'll see if we're getting a 3-wave or a 5-wave move down into support areas. Okay, so yeah, we're doing this intraday about 1:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. I thank you all for the support, and it comes with the Discord and trade alerts. We have we added a bunch of puts on today at the top here, just in case we reverse from that point. So we're still in the danger zone, and I think we're reversing off of it as we speak. So do we get a little more upside? It's possible. I'll show you on the 65. Let's go ahead and jump into this. We have SPX on the daily time frame. We have our moving averages here that we're fighting with. Let's see if we can hold and close above them. If we do, I do think that's going to be a fake out there for the bulls. Sure, there's potential upside for a back test of this wedge that formed here. You can also draw this trend line here if you want to, and if that breaks, you can put those together right there, those lows, and so now it's a valid trend line. So if those lows break, then obviously we're breaking more structure and it's heading to the downside. But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. And let's go to the McClellan oscillator. So we're in a bearish position, overly bearish, and we're coming back out of that. I do think we either find a new low here, get back into that, or start to have some positive divergence going into either a 3 or 5-wave move here. So let's keep an eye on that. We're kind of in the middle of a move, so it's really good to check out these charts and see what's happening here. Again, if we're negative, we were in that oversold territory. We're out of that now. We're back in the neutral zone. So this easily can make a new low or perhaps positive divergence depending on what's happening with price action. So we got to keep an eye on that. But momentum is to the downside, and our slow stoke brought us down here and is turning bullish. So if this starts to curl back over, then that would be a sign that we're getting another reversal. And this easily in a bearish situation could roll along the bottom here. Our DMARC count, we're starting to count to the downside, and we're at a 5 count so far, so let's see if we can get a 9 count in here and see what happens at that point. If this is a wave 3 or C, it could be a nice 9 count before getting a bounce there. So no setup yet. Awesome oscillator rolling over. Let's go over to SPY so we can see that money flow index. This is how we look at accumulation and distribution. So we had that breakdown of this range here after that negative divergence from that high to this high here, and we broke down from it, and now I consider this a back test. This should cycle all the way down lower. Bollinger Band gave us a little bit of a bounce here. We're messing around with that 20. It's the middle of the range here. Price action's still really tight, so we're not pushing any of the boundaries yet. And when it decides on which way it wants to go, it will push those boundaries, and this will start to open up. Very similar to when you get these tight price actions here. It broke down and pushed those boundaries to the downside. No setup on that. And let's check out the VIX here. So it's a very important candle, and so what the VIX is doing is back testing this trend line here. That's what I was talking about yesterday. We certainly could go lower. Obviously, if it does, it breaks down lower, you could consider this a back test. And on the 65, we actually have our trend line a little bit higher there, matching with the wicks. So, you know, we're right into support if you look at it that way. I'm going to keep that off of there. But we're forming this gravestone doji here. That's the key. That's a inverted hammer gravestone. This is a potential reversal candle, and I think that's what it is going into support here. So we should see some follow through as soon as tomorrow with that. Let's go to SPY on the 65, and just to mention, I do have a $4.99 a month service. These are, I know they're inexpensive, and I know some people say you get what you pay for. Well, I'm for the masses, so I'm not really worried about my services being $200-300 a month, $1,200 a month. I know there are traders out there with that. With that said, let's go. We close this gap here. We're on the 65. We're going to take a traditional look at this. We have this gap up here. Now, I do think this is a lower high that's possible happening right now. We have the options expected to move to the downside. We could easily hit that target by Friday. What else can we mention here? There's a higher retracement. This is 62% retracement. There's also the 786 where price could go to also, because we don't really have any real market structure inside of here to kind of compare. So is this just an A and then we get a B and then we get a C? That's a possible scenario as well. But I think these trades are good, even and we have plenty of time on them. So even if it does go to higher prices, we'd add on to some shorter term puts at that point. So here's our moving averages. Just kind of fighting along here. They're probably going to come together, but we have our 20. We're bouncing a little over that 20, but it is headed lower here. So let's see if we break this trend. We're holding on to that 8 and the 20 so far. Let's go to the MACD here. So we had a bullish cross and we're heading up to that zero line. That could be our area where we start to head back lower. We'll keep an eye on that. You got oversold or overbought there, so that's why we're pulling back. And let's see, maybe we make a negative divergence here with the new high, and maybe we get a lower high at this point. So far the momentum on the 65 minute is to the upside, which is why price action is kind of coming into an equilibrium. You can draw a triangle here if you want to give that sense of an equilibrium, and then you get tight price action in here. And that's where that doji comes in. So we'll see if, is there a move to the upside, or do we get that follow through to the downside? Of our DMARC count, starting over with a 1 count here. No setup. Awesome oscillator. Still in the negative area. Let's see if that turns positive. Money flow index. We got to that sold position, and that was a nice place to take profit as price went through here, and then we actually went long in this trade, and we took most of our longs off at the 50% here at 630, and the price action gave us just a little bit more to the upside, and we weren't worried about catching. You don't want to catch all of that. So could this go to the bought territory? That's, like I said, it's still possible that this could be a B wave, since we only have basically a straight up line here. And if this full wave was done at this low, you still could consider, and this is, I'll go over to SMH in just a second. You could consider this an A, expanded flat B, and then a C up there. So you could work this out in that fashion. And the reason is because of other indices. They actually have that same structure, but they didn't have the expanded low here. So this is their B wave. So that very well in SPY or SPX, that new low that they had here could have been the B wave expanded. Okay, so these would be flat patterns here. All right. what else do we have to look at? We have the money flow. Here's the Bollinger Band. It got real tight up here, and you see how it pushed down on that Bollinger Band. That gave us a buy signal eventually, with being oversold and a positive divergence here as well. So that was a good buy signal there. And we're talking very near term stuff. So we went long for a second here, but kept on our swing puts as well. Pretty much a hedge play. All right, so we'll keep an eye on what's happening here. No real setup. And again, with that $4.99 service I was talking about, we went through the Tesla trade today. So we're short. We are short Tesla. I know it went positive here. All right. That's okay. It's getting real tight price action. That should give us a clue on what's happening with the rest of the market. So the LA oscillator went to lows here. Nothing to trade off of here. All right. Went over all the scenarios from the weekend video, so no need to go through all that right now. Just go ahead and watch that video. So we could put our lows right here. It doesn't really matter because both lows are really close together. And so this just gives you a visual of what I'm looking at. I'm bearish as this is a 1-2 here, but we do have the bullish scenario as well. And you can go into that in much more detail with the weekend video. But here's our target here as well at about 600. We'll call it 600 here. Close this gap, and that should be that third wave. And I think we're starting that now, but we'll see if we get that continuation tomorrow. We're not going to get much more today, I don't think. It may be a little bit more higher of a trade, I'm not sure. But this doji type candle is called a hangman because all the buyers stepped in here, brought the price up, and then tomorrow you start to get a drop, and all those people are stuck in there. So that's why that Japanese candle is a hangman pattern. All right, that's it, you guys. Short video. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.